Hello and welcome to day 22 of 25 Days of Drams, our Advent giveaway and feature. It is now too late to win all the whiskies in this calendar, but what you can do is still tune in for the last few days, learn about a few more whiskies and give us your thoughts via our survey on what you might like to have in a calendar for yourself for next year. Let's dig into day 22. And we're continuing our run of 12-year-old whiskies with Kilkerran. Kilkerran 12-year-old Campbeltowner single malt Scotch whisky at 46%. Now our fourth, I think, 12-year-old whisky in a row. So Kilkerran has a very cool backstory. You may or may not know that until the year 2000, and even a little while afterwards, there were only 2 distilleries in Campbeltown. It's not a big place, it's not a big town at all. I visited fairly recently. It really is, you could walk around the town in a matter of 10-20 minutes. It's lovely, however, very picturesque. But back in 2000, only 2 distilleries, Glen Scotia and Springbank, both quite famous, both make amazing whiskey, but only 2. Now Campbeltown counts as a region under the Scotch whisky regulations, but because there were only 2 distilleries left, having previously actually been many more in decades gone, the Scotch Whisky Association, which regulates the Scotch whisky industry, were looking at removing Campbeltown's status as a whisky region of Scotland. So, obviously Glen Scotia and Springbank, not particularly happy about this, about having Campbeltown essentially demoted in terms of status and absorbed into the Highlands region. Nobody wants that. So, what they did, the Mitchell family, who owned Springbank, looked at the lowlands, and at that time there were only 3 operational lowland distilleries, and they said, well, if 3 is good enough for the lowlands, 3 must be good enough for Campbeltown, so we're going to reopen the Glengyle distillery, which had no equipment in it, the buildings were still there, but in need of much renovation, and then once we've reopened it, we'll be back up to 3 distilleries, and the Scotch Whisky Association can get lost and Campbeltown will stay firmly on the map as a whisky region of Scotland. So that's what happened. They reopened Glengyle Distillery. They got a lot of new equipment or equipment from other distilleries that had closed. They reopened Glengyle Distillery and they started producing Kilkerran single malt at that distillery. And the Scotch Whisky Association left the issue alone, and Campbeltown remains to this day a whisky region under the official regulations, and one that is very popular. So, what about the actual drink itself? Kilkerran released the 12-year-old at the moment as their standard single malt. It's the only expression they release. They do occasionally release other things like an 8-year-old, I think, cask strength, but this is their single core release. It's got a little bit of that Campbeltown character to it, a light smokiness, a bit of an oiliness, quite salty, saline. Oh, and that continues through, very rich, lovely warming smoke on the palate. Woody smoke, kind of bonfire-like to me. That's a fantastic balance between a little bit of savouriness with some of the notes I've mentioned, and kind of rich dried fruits as well. Really beautiful dram, great value as well, again for a single malt 12-year-old whisky from a very well-established distillery group, Mitchell, who own Springbank as well as Glengyle, notorious for attention to detail and the quality that they put into making a fantastic whisky, and that shines through in this dram. So, our 4th 12-year-old on the trot, worth trying out. That's day 22 done, and I will see you tomorrow for day 23. Cheers.